Hello folks, and welcome back to the channel. Sort of going back to the old school, how this channel started. When I first started this channel, it was all about truck stuff, purchasing parts for trucks, reviewing things that I use for work and on the trucks and all that sort of stuff. So today is going to be exactly that. I'm going to be reviewing these tires, the Toyo Open Country AT3s. I had a set of the AT2s on my 2017 F250 Power Stroke, and I really liked them. They did really well. They wore really well. Did pretty good in the snow. I plowed with that truck. So when these came out, I definitely wanted to try them. That's for sure. A couple people that I've talked to sort of have mixed reviews on them. One guy really liked them, swore by them. Another guy said that he didn't get very good wear out of them. So right now, these tires have like 25,000 kilometers on them. So what's that, like 12,000 miles roughly? So not a ton. And I really haven't towed a lot with this truck recently. I did a trip to New Brunswick where I hauled the skid steer with the mulcher on it. So we're looking at, 14,000, 18,000 pounds or so behind the truck for pretty good duration. I was gone for I think roughly a week, put a lot of miles on then. Other than that, a few times locally with the skid steer. Other than that, not much. I really haven't towed with this truck hardly at all, really. It's just kind of been a runner. Towed the dump trailer a few times. If I need to tow something, I have the 550 here. I've got the 3500 Ram here. They're both hooked up to goosenecks right now. I've got my F350, which has the skid steer and the trailer right now. I've been using those trucks. This truck hasn't been towing a whole lot, not because the truck doesn't do well. It does very well. Just that I have other options that I can use. So looking at the tires, first off, they are a great looking tire. Like from the sidewall, the truck is absolutely filthy. So these wheels actually look really good, but right now not so much. So looking at these, first off, they are a 295 6520 10 ply. I went with these tires versus the 35 12.5 50 12.5 20s. One was price, two was availability, and three was because I was worried about them rubbing. Because originally when I bought these, they were on the factory wheels, and even with these being 11.5 wide versus 12.5 wide, they still did rub on the sway bar and on the radius arms. So that's the big reason why I went with these. These have a higher weight rating, and they've done really well. So like towing, awesome. There's no squat, there's no sway in them whatsoever. They perform phenomenally. I'll go for a drive here in a bit. Super quiet. As far as wear goes, for 25,000 kilometers, these are on the front. These were on the back before I put these wheels on. So I'd say now there's probably a few more miles on the rear ones compared to the front ones, but these ones would have been on when I did the trip to New Brunswick on the rear. So as far as wear goes, they're doing pretty good. I'm gonna guess they're probably still at roughly 60% tread. There's the front. We'll look at the back. Like the backs are basically the same. You can see they're wearing really evenly. So no scalping, no uneven tread wear. They're still super quiet, no hum, no shake. There's a couple rips out of them, you can see, but not much. I mean, they're performing pretty good. They're up there with my, top tires that I've used, and I've used a ton. If you go back through my channel, you know that I've used a ton of different tires. The BFGs, the AT2s, the Falcon Wild Peak AT3Ws, General Grabber ATX, General Grabber X3s, the Hercules TerraTrack, Firestone Destination XTs. Geez, you know, there's been a lot. Still my absolute go-to tire, hands down, is the Falcon Wild Peak AT3W, for the price, the longevity, the performance, all that stuff. The Firestone Destination XTs are close to those because of price. They're quite a bit cheaper than any of these other tires, and they are doing great. I've had 2 sets of those tires. I still have them on my 350. I plowed snow with them. They're awesome. But these are right up there. Like, they absolutely are. But you're gonna pay for these. Like, you're really gonna pay for these tires. These are not cheap. Well, nothing's cheap anymore, but these are not cheap. So anyway, that's the history on these. That's how many miles is on them. That's my, you know, my experience with them. So let's jump in the truck, go for a drive, and you can hear the road noise, all that sort of stuff. All right, so here we are cruising on the road, roughly at 100 kilometers an hour, so right around 60 miles per hour, and you can tell they are super quiet. Extremely quiet, and the steering wheel, no shake in that thing whatsoever. So as far as, you know, daily driving, they are wicked. I've had them in a few mud situations and they've performed really well. No like crazy off-roading or anything like that, but I haven't gotten stuck, and I don't just drive on the asphalt, that's for sure. You guys know that. Unfortunately, the only thing that I can't test and tell you guys about is the performance in the snow. With, you know, 100% tread, or now with, you know, 50-60% tread, I can't speak to that. So, you know, I kind of thought that I had more kilometers, more miles on these tires than what I did, but when I posted the first video, I went back to that today, when I posted the first video of when I put these tires on, I had roughly 120,000 kilometers on the truck. And right now, I'm just about to hit 146,000 kilometers. So 26,000 kilometers have been on this. The speedometer is not calibrated with the larger tires. It's off by like 4 kilometers per hour. So there is a bit more kilometers on this. So to be generous, let's say 27,000 kilometers on the tires. And, you know, let's say it's at 50 or 60%, these tires are at half their tread life. So that means that I'm going to get between 50 and 60,000 kilometers, I'm gonna guess, out of these tires, which is kind of right in the middle of you know, being good and not being good. I'd like to get, again, it's a 1-ton truck, so it's heavier. I'd like to get 60 to 75,000 out of a set of tires. That's ideally where I'd like to be. Anything around that, I'd be super happy. Anything above that, I would be, you know, be ecstatic. You know, if I can get 80,000 kilometers on a 1-ton that I use occasionally for towing, that would be awesome. Which I was right on par with that with the Falcon Wild Peaks AT3Ws. So these are right there, like they're right there. So if you're looking at these tires and you just love the way that they look, and you know you're sold on them, if they perform pretty good, then you know they're what you're gonna get, then right on. I would say, you know, it doesn't hurt to shop around, look at other prices of tires, but you know you're not gonna go wrong with these. You're not gonna go wrong. But I don't know if they're as good as what, you know, people say they are. The Toyos are a good tire. A lot of people just swear by them, and they are good, but they're not as good as what people say they are in my experience. I guess, you know, the best way to judge how good they are compared to other tires is at the same price point, you know, or not, maybe like not even at the same price point, but would I pick these again with being my top tire? And the answer to that is really easy, and the answer is no. I would not. This would not be my first pick. it's up there, like I said, but it wouldn't be my first pick. If the Falcons were the same price as these are, I'd get the Falcons 10 out of 10 times. If the X3 or the Destination XTs, you know, were $100 cheaper a tire, I'd get the XTs. If they were the same price, that's a tough one. But they are not number one for me, but they're up there. Complete, honest review on these. I don't get anything from any of these tire companies to say one's good and one's bad, or, you know, vice versa, whatever. So this is just my experience. Doesn't mean it's gonna be what your experience is gonna be, but this is mine. So anyway, I hope that helps for people looking at these tires or at tires in general. But yeah, that's gonna do it. So until next time, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you then. Bye.